Welcome back to the Blue Jays Today Show, where today, guys, we are feeling good after another series win off of the Miami Marlins. The Blue Jays are heading back home, and they got some good news to go along with it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. should be back in the starting lineup. We got a little taste of him last night. Didn't really come up at a big moment, that's okay, but we're going to have him back in the lineup. And as well, some other news that as well coming this week that was pretty good, honestly, from my perspective from Blue Jays Today. We've been kind of screaming that we want this certain piece of news to happen. We'll tell you about that in a little bit later. And of course, got to break down the series and talk about all the fun little nuggets that is the Toronto Blue Jays. I took a look today at their fan graphs, like playoff winning or playoff expected to make playoff percentage or whatever it is. It's at like a 99.6%. It feels really good. It feels locked in. So
yeah, yesterday on the broadcast, they were actually this is the first time that I've seen this, so somebody correct me in the chat if they've been doing this before. But yesterday on the broadcast, they were promoting the sale of playoff tickets, and they were saying you can get playoff tickets at XYZ type thing. And I was like, oh shit, like it's real. Happening, it's legit.
It's real.
There is still 30 odd games to go between now and then, so it might be, some people might be thinking, oh, that's a little risky to be selling playoff tickets right now. Well, not if you are at a 99.6 or 99.8% chance to make the postseason, which is what the Toronto Blue Jays are at right now.
Yeah, and like that feels great, obviously, because in the past it was always, going into September, like, can we get into the wild card? We're only ahead by one game, or we're back by one game, or we're pushing and we're fighting. Now it feels like we're so secured in making the playoffs. Now the big question is, can we get the bye? Because right now they are second in the American League, right behind the Tigers, so we're having a great surge right now. But the Blue Jays are just doing enough to keep on to that second bye spot, but they got to keep winning, because obviously I think we can all agree we don't want to play any more wild card series where we get knocked out after two bad games, which anyone is capable of having.
Yeah,
so rather have 5 games.
Going back to the first half of last week, right? I mean, you didn't play your best ball. You lost a series to Pittsburgh. So it just goes to show, the wild card, especially in baseball, is just, it is ridiculous. And honestly, just playoffs in general in a sport like MLB where you play 162 games, there is an element of, I don't want to go so far to say luck, but, the best team doesn't always win in the playoffs, because they might just, they might get some unlucky bounces. They might not have their best stuff. So getting out of that 3-game wild card series, or in the past for the Toronto Blue Jays, 2-game wild card series, and not the 2 games that we want. Obviously, that is going to be extremely beneficial. And looking over at the standings right now, they do got a couple games over those Houston Astros. Houston right now, they're 4-6, so they're not playing their best ball. This is a good spot to be for the Toronto Blue Jays. However, there is still 30-odd games to play, and if you go on a skid where you do go 3-7 in your last 10 over those 30 games, then yeah, Houston could easily catch up. So they got to keep the pedal to the metal, man. Yeah,
they do. Looking right now, do you really want, if we drop down that 3rd spot, assuming the Mariners are still in the 3rd wild card spot, do you really want another 3-game series at home with the Rogers Centers against the Mariners, who we've been talking about as a pretty scary team? I don't think so. And to your point, I see you got it right here. The strength of schedule is pretty hard for the Blue Jays coming. I think we got the 6th hardest schedule.
We do.
Upcoming.
We got the 6th hardest schedule, and looking ahead, I love how it's called Tankathon. We're not trying to tank. We're trying to win this goddamn thing. But it's cool because they have all of your toughest opponents and then your easiest opponents, and we do have a lot of tough opponents between now and October, which some might argue is actually a good thing because it's preparing you for what you are going to be up against. So if they do succeed over this stretch, then we'll be feeling that much more confident. But when you're going for the bye, it does make it that much more difficult. They're going to have Milwaukee for 3 games. They're going to have Houston for 3 games. That's going to be a very, very good litmus test because we lost to Houston earlier in the season. That was when we weren't very, very good at baseball. Now the Toronto Blue Jays are good at baseball. So can we beat the Houston Astros, who you got to imagine at one point or another they'd probably be up against in the postseason? They're going to have the Red Sox. They're going to have the Yankees. These are all postseason teams right now. The Reds, I guess are
they're
surprisingly doing okay. I believe that they're 1 or 2 or 3 games away from the wild card.
One game back of the Mets, so not a rollover team.
Not a playoff squad just yet, but could be at any given moment. And then you got the Kansas City Royals, who are also trying to fight for that last playoff spot.
Yeah.
And in terms of the easier schedules, or the easier game, excuse me, they're going to have 3 games against the Twins, which is coming up. We're going to break down starting tonight. So you got to win some there. You're going to have 3 games against Baltimore, who is obviously out of it this year. And then they'll actually have 7 games against the Tampa Bay Rays, which is good because on the surface, you look at Tampa Bay's record and you're like, oh, we can clean this up. But honestly, just knowing the history of Tampa Bay and Toronto, I would kind of move that into the toughest opponents because Tampa Bay, for whatever reason, usually has our number.
Well, I'll throw this out too. Even the 3-game series against the Orioles, they've beaten us this year. They have our number. They have beaten us more than we've beaten them. So for the Blue Jays, there's no easy schedule or no easy series upcoming. The easiest one, the easiest one is the Twins, and we're going to break it down later. They're going to have their ace, Joe Ryan, coming up in the series, so you still got to be able to beat him. Luckily for us, it is at the Rogers Center, so they got to be playing their best ball right now. With all that being said, a little transition right here. How do you feel about the way they played this last week up against the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Miami Marlins going 3-3?
Well, here's the thing. The Pittsburgh Pirates obviously just not good enough from the lineup in that second game. They scored 7 runs, so I can't pull any statistics, across the whole series and be like, oh, the offense wasn't great as a whole, because that second game was really boosting a lot of their numbers. But in game 1 and game 2, I mean, when you only put up 2 runs and then 1 run against Pittsburgh, granted, in game 1 it was Paul Skeens, so it was very difficult. But that third game, I mean, you just needed a bit more from the offense, from the lineup. They didn't get it. I'm not going to put too much weight on it because, again, it is just one series. And then they followed that up in Miami, winning 2 games back-to-back. It would have been nice to go out there and get the sweep, but at the end of the day, you're on the road, and you ended up going 500. And teams that go 500 on the road typically are some of the best of the best. Even though this is pretty poor, opponents right here, you still went 500, you took care of it. Now you're going to be back home at the Rogers Center, and you are going to have actually some very, very tough competition. Not this upcoming series, but the following one against Milwaukee. That's going to be a really interesting one to see exactly how do you match up against the best squad in baseball, the undeniable best squad in baseball in the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's going to be some much-watched baseball. We'll be live for the 29th game, everybody, watching the Brewers, because that is going to be quite a matchup, like Nick is talking about.
Imagine a World Series of Milwaukee and Toronto. I mean,
I would love that.
I would love that.
Obviously, we would love it, even from a baseball perspective. Like, thank God, no more Yankees. Thank God, no more Dodgers. Like, we can actually get some fresh faces in the World Series for once.
Exactly. And you know what? Even if, obviously, like in the moment, I would want to kick their ass, I want to win. But even if we lost, I would feel like it's not evil. Whereas if it was the Dodgers again, I'd be like, oh, it's good versus evil right now. If Milwaukee actually beat us in the World Series, I'd be like, GG, guys. Like, well, you know what? You deserve it.
It's been a long road for you. It's not like the Raptors in 2019 up against the Golden State Warriors. It's like, you're evil, we're the underdogs, and we got to beat you.
No, I'd feel like it'd be either. Well, obviously, I'd want to win, but if we didn't, I wouldn't be as hurt, let's say, as if the Mets or the Dodgers or somebody like that.
I guess circling back just a little bit, because I want to, you touched on a point there about like being away, 500 ball, and then being at home. We've been a very good home ball team. We've been phenomenal at the Rogers Center ever since we started getting hot. And the one thing I guess you can hang your hat on, and also what will encourage you to want to win more games down the stretch, is you got to secure that home field advantage for the ALDS, which you should, unless you fall to a wild card spot and and then 2 and 3 spot. But you should want to secure that there. You want to secure the advantage in the ALDS, maybe even the ALCS if you want to get that number 1 spot. So look, if you play good at the Rogers Center, you're going to want to win series at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, and I guess the one saving grace about the wild card too is you got to imagine that this is a knock on wood thing for sure, but you'd have to imagine with where the Jays are at right now, they wouldn't fall so low, should they play a wild card game to be away.
Right.
You'd have
to really collapse.
They'd have to really collapse to be in a wild card spot. That'd have to be either the 5th or 6th team coming into the playoffs in the American League, which feels very, very unlikely. So I guess the one thing you can hang your hat on is, should they play in a wild card series, which we don't want them to do, but if they were to do so, it's likely that that series would take place at the Rogers Center, which, like you said, Blue Jays have been lights out at home. They're 42-21
like, that's
at
ridiculous.
home comparatively to their 500 record when they're away. So they are a much better ball team at home. That being said, though, I don't even want to flirt with that. And one thing that's going to help them out a bunch in securing that bye is obviously having Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the lineup every single day. We got the positive update. We got the news. He was rarely available in that Miami series. You just saw him for that one at-bat at the end of yesterday's game. Didn't come up with anything. But he is expected to return in the lineup here against the Minnesota Twins. It was never anything extremely serious. We saw the stretch when it happened. We were actually live for that game, and the guy looked totally fine after the fact. It felt more of a precautionary thing, and honestly, they probably played it the right way, and it sounds like he's 100% ready to go and back to playing baseball.
Yeah, like he was even thinking about pinch hitting the other night, John Schneider, if they needed Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They didn't, and they pitched hit him on Sunday. So, hey, he's good to be back, and this is what John Schneider said. Going forward, I expect him to be back in there. We wanted him at bat today. This was Sunday, and we're looking at the big picture with him, which is exactly why I think they played it great, because, look, I know everyone likes to get on him, and some doubters out there like, oh, he's not worth $500 million. No, this guy's your superstar. You need your superstar in the lineup, right? This is and I hate that this is a very weak comparison, but this is our Aaron Judge, this is our Cal Raleigh. This is our guy that anchors the rest of the lineup. I mean, you guys don't be ignorant. The lineup looked a little different without Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yeah, you had Bo being hot, George being hot, but imagine throwing in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in there. That's when that lineup takes the next step right there.
100%, dude. That being said, though, I don't know if comparing him to Raleigh, like you said, it's not a great comparison.
It's not a great. It's just,
I don't know
that's
if
the Rock.
Him to Raleigh or Judge would be the best player comparison on the Blue Jays, because we got another guy over there, Daulton Varsho. If you're going to compare anybody right now to Big Dumper or to Aaron Judge, you might actually have a strong argument for Daulton freaking Varsho. I'll be honest, I'll come clean. We have on occasion called him no-show before in the heat of the moment when we're live for a game and he didn't come up clutch. That nickname has never been more wrong than it is right now, because Daulton Varsho is showing up every single at-bat and the power is going insane right now.
He is. I re-up my calculations on what kind of rate he's at. Boom, here's my lovely math calculator app right here. 56 home runs.
Let's round. That's 56.51. We get to round up to that. That's 57.
If you really, maybe he squeaks in one more. You never know. But if he were to play 162 games, which, I mean, he probably wouldn't, so realistically he'd be a little bit lower than this. But if he were healthy for the entire season, the pace of play that he's at right now is 56 homers. And you might go, okay, well, that's nice. Well, he's not going to get 56 homers. That's okay. I'm not worried about personal accolades right now. I'm worried about the type of player that is in the lineup right now, because, yeah, you brought up Cal Raleigh. That guy's probably on pace for close to 60 home runs right now. You're adding in Daulton Varsho to the lineup that's been so phenomenal. My goodness, I don't care if most of his hits are just home runs. I'm pretty sure if you single out the categories, home runs is the most. He still has a low batting average of 234, but if you're just popping a homer whenever you get a hit, hell yeah. I mean, that's what Raleigh does anyways.
I'm looking at it right now, man. He's got 36 hits on the season. 15 of them are home runs.
Well, there you go.
Roughly half of his hits have been home runs, and adding that dude in the lineup has been so crucial. Now, would he hit 56 if he was healthy for 162? Likely no. That's assuming that he remains at this pace, and he has been the hottest that I think he's ever been in his entire career recently with the Toronto Blue Jays. So it's probably unlikely that he would be playing at this level for a whole 162, but we don't need him to do it for 162. We need him to do it for roughly 2 more months. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, if he can continue this level of play through September, if you walk into October with Daulton Varsho still doing what he's doing, that right there is the missing power piece that we've been talking about all season long. What plays in the postseason? It's the long ball and it's the extra base hit. And the Blue Jays have done a really good job at kind of proving that wrong when they're capable of beating up on some of the really good pitchers, when they're capable of stringing together the hits against Jacob deGrom or Tarek Skubal. And they have done that. But I'd feel so much more comfortable if, you know what, on the one day when we can't do that, on the one day when Paul Skeens is just going, or the version of Paul Skeens that you'd be up against,
right,
Eric Crochet's, because he's not making playoffs. But when those aces are really on, you got to have your fallback plan. And right now, Daulton Varsho is that guy.
And I'll say this because it's so funny. Maybe I'm gassing up the Blue Jays when I say this, but in the past you've had, people say, well, you need to have homers in the playoffs because you're up against great pitching. I've said that, you've said that, everybody said that. But we've already seen this season the Blue Jays string hits against really good pitchers in the big leagues, like the best of the best, the Tariq Skubals, the Nathan Eovaldi's, etc., whatever it might be, the guys who are up there in Cy Young votes. So, and you've got the ability to hit home runs. Look at where the Blue Jays are right now overall. They're 13th in the big leagues in home runs on the season. That's very good. Like, yeah, you could be like, I want to be 5th, I want to be 1st, whatever. They're 13th in the big leagues in home runs, and they're 1st in batting average and on base. So my point here is this offense has played so well this season. I'm going to gas them up right here. So well that they could pop a home run and they could do it against any pitcher, but they could also string against hits and have big rally innings and work them and work the pitch count. They can win in multiple assets, multiple ways. That's why this team is really damn good. Yeah, and Daulton Varsho adds that sprinkle to it.
Well, that is what I was saying there. Is yes, they have done that. They have proved that. However, it's tough to do that consistently. You would have to do that against an ace every single day effectively in the playoffs. Adding somebody like a Daulton Varsho, adding that power in there, that's the cherry on top to what has already been a very, very good lineup. And I think that, again, if he can continue performing at this level, now you're looking at a complete offense. Now you're looking at a lineup that is capable of hitting a home run when they really need to, or of stringing the hits together like we've said. So ultimately, Varsho playing at this level is what Ross Atkins always dreamed of and what we always dreamed of when he was coming over to the Rogers Center, and we were thinking, oh, that lefty power is really going to play here. It is finally working out that way, and considering he's only got 1 year left on his deal, he could be playing himself into a potentially big contract come next offseason if he keeps playing at this level.
Yeah, right now he's on he avoided arbitration, obviously, his past offseason, and he's got $8.2 million, so he'll probably get another arbitration, which is ARB4. Who knows what it might be, whatever it might be. Rogers can pay for it. But then, yeah, you got that upcoming year, and it makes me excited to see what kind of pace he's at right now. Is it David Popkins effects? Is it just a great offseason he had? Could be a bit of both. I want to see what kind of contract he could be getting later on. This is way down the line, but I'm excited because I honestly, at this rate, I would sign Varsho back in a heartbeat. There's two guys I really want: Bichette and Daulton Varsho back.
Yeah, exactly. Because the floor of Varsho is I'm going to be the best or top 5 outfielder in baseball.
Yeah, at least.
Now we're finally seeing the ceiling, and I think that's what's so exciting is when they made that trade initially, sending away Moreno and sending away Lourdes Gurriel Jr., we knew we were going to get a good defender. I wanted to see the additional part of that. I wanted to see, as did a lot of Toronto Blue Jays, I wanted to see that lefty power because he was a very promising young power hitter over there in Arizona, and you are finally starting to see that this season. So can't promise you anything. Time will only tell, as it always typically does in sports, but if this is the beginning to the Daulton Varsho that we all hope for, I'm excited for the ride, man.
I am very excited. Also, Ross Atkins said in spring training he would like to sign and extend Daulton Varsho.
Well, of course he would. He put so much goddamn assets in it.
Exactly. And the other guy he mentioned was Bichette. So just something to note there. Also, I see Drew Gamer saying you don't want Bieber back. I never said that. I would like Bieber back. That's its own case, and we're going to have to see how that plays out as season goes on. Obviously, that was phenomenal. One more thing about the whole power conversation. You got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming back. He's missed a week of ball. Are you worried about maybe him missing a beat or two and having to get ramped up again?
No, it's a week of, or not even a full week of baseball. I mean, look, I definitely feel that way when you've been out of the game for a while. But Vlad's a professional, and we. At the end of the day, he was there the whole time. He was in the dugout. I imagine that he was doing some sort of warm-ups in his own capacity. I don't think that this should warrant him missing a beat here.
Yeah, I feel like, if anything, a couple games got to get ramped up because a week is decent chunk. I mean, that's why even in the playoffs, when they take a week off, if you finish your series like soon, they play like simulated games to get them like still on time with pitchers' pitches. You know, hey, they're back in Rogers Center. Go use that traject screen. You know, get up to speed with your opponent tonight, which is Joe Ryan. Yeah, I mean, maybe a couple games I'll give him, and then he should be back. And I'm not worried because we need him to get real hot with Daulton Varsho in.
Yeah,
the playoffs.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, yeah, you were out for a couple guys. Like, ultimately though, like we need you to do that. Like we need you to be there. Okay, that's one of those things where I do go to the money and be like, you're the guy right here. Fuck, Daulton Varsho's been on and off the IL all season long, and the second that this guy gets in the lineup, it's like bang.
That's why it's
up right where we left off.
That's why it's even more impressive to me that this guy's this good and he's missed so much time.
Yeah, that's actually, I will give him credit. That's an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because when you miss over a month of baseball, that's when I start to go, okay, I understand it's going to take you a little while to get ramped up, but for him, it's been bang, bat out of the gate immediately, like quite literally looking like one of the better bats, one of the better power bats in all baseball every single time he's in the lineup.
David Popkins effect. He's got a great plan and approach, and he just goes and he executes it. Now, one more batter that deserves some flowers, and that is the J of the Week this week, guys. He's been popping off, and my goodness, speaking of contract extensions, we need this guy to get extended, guys. Without further ado, time to announce the J of the Week. You guys may have guessed it. If you've been on our Twitter, you already know the answer. That guy is Mr. Bichette.
Let's go!
Just an incredible week by Bichette. Like, holy crap. I'm going to flash up the stats for you guys. And you can see here, it was a decently tight race. There was an argument for Shane Bieber for sure. But Bichette, with his week of a .458 batting average, an OPS of 1.102, 3 doubles, scoring 6 runs. Like, this guy was literally probably won us the Miami series alone, especially in that second game we went to extras into 12. He had an incredible defensive play, 2 actually with the relay as well, if you count that, nabbing a runner at home, and then getting 4 hits in that game. Like, my goodness, Bichette, man. I love him, and I want him on this team forever.
Yeah, he's got an OPS over 950 right now in the second half. So since the All-Star break, and we're starting, like, that's starting to become quite the sample size, right? It's been over a month now, and Bichette is he's having that month. And when I say that month, it feels like Bo always has 1 or 2 months in a season where he's just like the best hitter in baseball. And since the All-Star break, guys batting .350, getting on base 41% of the time, and just hitting. Also, speaking of hitting, he's 25 hits above any other Toronto Blue Jay player right now. So it's him. He's at like 164 hits or something like that. Yeah. And then Vladdy's down there at 139. Yeah. So he not only leads all of MLB, but he leads the Toronto Blue Jays by 25 hits. So when people say, "Whoa, like, you know, like, what would the lineup look like without Bo?" Well, just minus 164 hits. And now you have, and I promise you, it would be a wildly different offense if you took 164 hits just out of that lineup.
Yeah, it's quite phenomenal what Bichette has done this year. You know, we were worried about the injury in the offseason. He comes back and he literally, like, look, like, you could pencil this guy in when healthy for a 300 batting average, an OPS in the low 800s, and to lead the league in hits. It's actually uncanny how often he does it. And yeah, I don't care about the money. Get this guy as much as you want. And he's gonna be a big contribution to the postseason. We talk about Varsho, talk about Vladdy. This guy right here. I mean, if everyone's clicking on all cylinders, like, this is going to be great, and we got to hope he keeps it up.
You know, I think it's even more impressive right now. When I made that statistic, when I was making a short this morning, I was looking at, okay, Bichette's leading the Toronto Blue Jays by 25 hits, and the next one is Vladdy. Yeah, Vladdy's batting .298 and has the 9th most hits in baseball. Yeah, so it's not like the other guys on like the guy that he's ahead of is a scrub. It's like he is 25 hits better than the 900 OPS Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That to me is wild. Obviously, he deserves all the money in the world right now, and credit where credit is due for him to have this season. This is such a needed season for Bichette because walking into this year, nobody knew what to expect. Nobody could pinpoint his value. It feels like it's starting to come to form where it will be at least $25 million a year, probably 5 to 8 years, somewhere in that mix, and you're going to see a myriad of suitors for him. I was looking up today, and there's already articles coming out of people linking him to the Braves, linking him to the Dodgers. We're not even in playoffs yet. We got 30 games left of baseball, for crying out loud, and already you're hearing these rumors and reports coming out about how this team's going to be really into him. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Jays to sign him here long term, but it's one that they're going to need to come out winners.
Yeah, get ready, guys, for another offseason of Blue Jays today, following the rumors of the biggest acquisition of the trade, or excuse me, of the offseason. It's Bo Bichette this year.
It's going to be Bo now.
It's Bo Bichette. We're going to be chasing Bo Bichette all winter long, and I hope we get it done. Before we continue on, guys, let's give a shout out to the sponsor of this Blue Jays Today show, Budweiser. Batters up, and the Buds are stepping up to the plate. Budweiser is encouraging all Buds to make time for baseball this summer. It is the official partner of your Toronto Blue Jays, as well as the official partner of Blue Jays Today. Baseball is better with your Buds. You can go get limited edition Toronto Blue Jays Budweiser cans that are available at your local LCBO.
Yeah, shout out to Budweiser, everybody. I got first off, 234 people in here. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like, smash that subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Monday morning. I got a fun question for the chat. I got a fun question for you. Do you remember Anthony Santander?
Yeah, I do. You know where I know how I remember him? I saw him in the dugout the other day handing somebody a home run jacket. I saw
Anthony Santander in the dugout the other day, and I will be completely honest, everybody, I had forgotten that he was on this Toronto Blue Jays team at this current point, because we haven't heard about Anthony Santander in months. He was injured. He was hurt. What's going on with him? We hadn't heard about him in months. I saw him on the screen. And then very recently, we got an update that he is now swinging the bat.
Yes, he is.
On both sides.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Anthony Santander back to swinging the bat. So, I mean, you got an update there, but it's August 25th right now. There is roughly 30 games to play. Anthony Santander has just started swinging the bat. He's going to need to ramp up. Then he's going to need to have some sort of assignment of some kind in AAA. Yep. Is there any way that he's coming back to this team?
Here's the thing. I said this before. I'll say it again. This is perfect timing that they were calculating this, because the end of the season is September 28th. You have 30 days when you start this guy's rehab assignment to call him up or DFA, or I forget whatever the rule is. It's something weird like that. They're going to wait until that 30 day, at least the 30 days, to begin his rehab assignment, if he's even healthy, because if he's not ready, they can just, shut him down for the rest of the season. Okay, you're done, right? And then we don't have to see you back. But I think they do maybe give him a shot, couple rehab assignments in AAA Buffalo. And if he's actually popping off, then maybe you do bring him up. But right now, if he's down there and he's doing kind of mid, and maybe there's a little bit of soreness and he's not fully 100% healthy, don't even bother this season, man. Like we've been talking about, the lineup is so thick. Who do you remove from the lineup? Maybe you could argue Nathan Lucas has been getting kind of cold right now. Barger's been getting kind of cold, but I think he'll find his way in the lineup somehow. There might be a spot if there is a need. So I think we'll have to play it by ear if we're the Toronto Blue Jays when you're deciding if he's going to come back up to the show.
So Ben Nicholson-Smith recently went on Jays Talk Plus, and he said that there still remains a possibility for Anthony Santander to play this season. And I think ultimately that's where we're at. The Jays are leaving their options open, because if he starts swinging the bat right now and then he goes on this assignment, well, doing some quick math here, working backwards, you got to imagine that by the time he would be ready to go, we're probably a week away from postseason at that point. Yeah. We are a week away from playoffs by the time that Anthony Santander is ready to go. And if he is performing really well down there in AAA, and potentially at that current juncture of the season, Nathan Lucas doesn't have it anymore, or David Schneider isn't playing as well as he was, or something like that. One of those guys is cooled off. Maybe somebody's injured by then. Maybe there isn't a spot available in the lineup. Well, now if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you could bring up Anthony Santander. So having that option is obviously better than not having that option, but I'm also not going to hold my breath and pray or bank my hat on the fact that he is going to come up to the team, because at this current juncture, we really, it's just a shot in the dark.
Yeah, like if I'm the Blue Jays, I guess when you look at Anthony Santander back earlier in the year and he was your 3-hitter and he was striking out like half the time, you were like, man, this is really hurting the lineup. But now you kind of know who you are as an offense if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm looking at this 1 through 6. He's not cracking the 1 through 6 at right now at this current pace. You know, you could slot him down there in the 7 spot, maybe 8 spot, depending on who's playing on the bump. And you could feel okay with, maybe he pops one a couple times here and there, but I'm not really expecting a whole lot of production down there if, of course, like we're saying, the job is open for him if people start struggling.
That's the thing, right? If his power swing is back in AAA, if he is hitting a couple out of the park during his rehab assignment, well, we were just talking about how home runs are so bloody valuable in the playoffs. I can't promise you that he's going to play well and be that 44 home run hitter for you, but if you did inject his bat into the lineup in that 7 or 8th spot, now you have a power threat down there where before you didn't. So it's an option for the Toronto Blue Jays. They're paying the guy a lot of money. It would be nice to see him contribute in some capacity to the Toronto Blue Jays this season, especially if they are going to go on a deep run.
And Beacock's asking DH or left. You got to imagine, that's another thing, too, to consider. You got to put him in left or right? That's his original position. May move Varsho over to left. You got to put him out there because Unk. You don't want to fuck with Unk.
Yeah, Unk's got a free pass for the rest of the season, in my opinion. Wherever, if Unk wants to start playing first base, then we're going to make it work. That's just what it is at this point. So Anthony Santander, you would be left or you'd be right, but yeah, that is an option for the Jays at least, whereas a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, I didn't think it was ever going to happen.
No, I didn't think so, but we'll follow along the story and we'll let you guys know what is happening. Before we move on and talk about this upcoming Twin series, let's talk about a little note that we've been literally analyzing for the past month, ever since we got Shane Bieber. Like, what are they going to do with the rotation? Well, we got a few updates right here to the Blue Jays rotation. Eric Lauer, who was moved to the pen this past weekend, and we saw him actually warming up for like 2 hours in the bullpen and never actually came in on that Friday game. He didn't really play, but then you got an update right here that Eric Lauer is going to be returning to the rotation, in fact, for this upcoming series. Hazel May with the tweet right here. It will be today, Max Scherzer, Tuesday, Chris Bassett, and then Wednesday will be Eric Lauer. And the reason behind it is because John Schneider said Lauer, he wants to give Bieber an extra day post-surgery, which makes sense. I kind of figure that, like, maybe you want to play it a little more cautious with Bieber, give him a little bit more time down the stretch. So that's your update right there. I'm happy with it. I always kind of want a 6-man rotation. And again, when we were trying to figure out, are they going to do it? You had to have those internal conversations. Clearly they must have, or else everyone's just going to be shocked right now. And everyone's okay with getting an extra day's rest in the rotation down the stretch.
There's no reason to push Shane Bieber like crazy right now. I mean, give the guy as much time as he needs. We haven't had a real chance to actually break down exactly what happened on Friday, but holy shit, guys, it was awesome to witness what he was doing on the bump. Shane Bieber looked in control the entire time out there on the bump for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just across the board, it was dominant stuff. So at this current juncture, I am already slotting him into my postseason rotation. I don't know if he's the number one guy, but he's at the very least, if you were in a wild card series, you are going to see him in game 1 or game 2. I just don't see a reality where you don't at this current point. And then I think that you're going to have Scherzer in there as well, because he has been a dog. And then probably it's Kevin Gausman. And that's your top 3. Should you need a 4th, that's when you can make an argument for Bassett or Lauer or Barrios. But the top 3 for me is pretty set at this point. It's Scherz, it's Bieber, and it's Gausman. That's my playoff rotation, and then it's bullpen until their arms fall off.
Yeah, I was looking at just preemptively the J of the month for August, and not Bieber, excuse me. Scherzer's got a 1.5 ERA
he's been filthy, dude.
in August, which is just amazing to see. But you can already see it's a great solution. It's a great problem for the Blue Jays to have, and I'm all for it, guys. So Shane Bieber, looking forward to the next start. He is starting this Friday. That's going to be very exciting. That'd be very, very exciting.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be great, especially against a lineup like the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, yeah.
And now that he's here and now that he is looking good, I've always felt like I wanted to see Eric Lauer in that starting rotation. However, if Shane Bieber's dominant, if Max Scherzer keeps doing what he's doing, I know Kevin Gausman got roughed up a little bit yesterday, but prior to that, he was looking elite. He was looking like vintage Gausman. If you already have your playoff rotation and you're set and you're loving that, which I am about those three guys, then moving Lauer to the bullpen for me, that's when it starts to make sense, and that's when I can get behind it, because recently the bullpen has been...
It has been.
Well, for lack of a better term, it's been piss poor, folks. There has not been a lot of good performances in August from some of our key contributors. Varland, who we were over the moon excited about and who I am still extremely excited about for the future. I think Varland is going to be a stud. When you watch him pitch, some of his stuff, like, it just explodes from his arm. It's quite literally, I have no idea how you hit that shit, but apparently people have been hitting it because he's got a 5.59 ERA. Dominguez, that's up there. Yariel Rodriguez.
Yariel's been really bad, man.
It has been not good.
No.
It has been not good from Yariel Rodriguez recently. Fluharty, Little, Fisher. Obviously, there's a lot of guys in the bullpen who you could kind of point the finger at and go, what's going on, buddy? But I am just crossing my fingers and hoping that this is something that rectifies itself. But if it doesn't, at the very least, you got Eric Lauer, and you can put him in there.
Yeah, you know what? As we get closer to October and we are starting to see this problem arise, that's why you got to be very flexible. Like, problems are going to rise and you got to make decisions. Obviously, I was in your camp too and everybody else's camp, like, you got to have Eric Lauer in the rotation. But if Bieber's solving that issue, you can afford to move Lauer in the back of that bullpen to give your entire bullpen another rest day. Like, we almost saw him come out in the Friday game. Inevitably, we didn't. But if you can have that down the stretch in September and give your entire bullpen a whole rest day, maybe some of these guys will start to lock in their command, because they are really up there in innings, guys. Like, if you look at their past history, all these guys are on pace for career highs at this point, which you gotta manage a little bit better. So putting Eric Lauer in there in a game that's either completely done, right, either winning or loss, you can get a whole other rest day. And I also, too, even more emphasis on getting that bye, because then you get 4 days off before starting another series. That's crucial for the Blue Jays going into October.
Totally agree, man. I'm also thinking about the postseason as a whole, where matchups and analytics become even that much more amplified. Yeah. So, for instance, yesterday, Gausman started the game out amazing, and then it kind of got away from him. Well, maybe if you're in the playoffs and you're John Schneider and you're seeing, there's something going on here with Kevin Gausman, you know, we're closing in on the second, third time through the lineup. You know, maybe.
Oh, no, don't say second time.
Well, yeah. Okay,
don't do another Barrios.
Second time's a little crazy. But you know what? I mean, hey, in yesterday's game, maybe if that was if that was game 3 of the wild card and everything was on the line right now, and I see that my guy's stuff is starting to, because that's the difference, right? With Jose Barrios, his stuff was still locked in, going crazy.
Yeah.
Kevin Gausman's stuff was not that way yesterday. Sorry. Maybe now I put in Eric Lauer, and I do have that option to do so, and then he can kind of bridge us over to the late innings of the ball game. It's nice having a long man in the bullpen that you can really trust. And hell, I mean, I would trust Eric Lauer with my bloody life at this point. The guy's been so goddamn good at baseball.
And it feels like he's flexible. He's done it in the past, so he can absolutely get it done yet again. I thought there was one more thing we wanted to bring up right here. Oh, yes. So people are talking about it right now in the chat, being like, okay, who's coming up right now to help the bullpen? Because obviously you got September call-ups coming up. I wanted to talk about this just briefly. You had Jays Journal coming out with an article, and they made an article just saying 5 Blue Jays most deserving of a call-up this year. The guess, this is different than other years for the Blue Jays, where in other years it was, let's see what this prospect's got to offer. Blue Jays are in a place right now where we're not really in that spot. Right now we have guys down there in AAA that deserve to be on the big league roster because they've been on the big league roster. With the rosters expanding next week, Nick, who are you predicting gets called up for those extra 2 spots? 1 position player and 1 pitcher.
Well, first things first, massive shout out here to Paxton Schultz, who we actually got a chance to talk to in Buffalo, and fingers crossed, we've already reached out to him and he's gotten back to us. We're hoping to line up an interview with him on the show in the next couple weeks. Guy's a stud, by the way.
He's such a nice guy.
Just an overall awesome human being in general. So shout out to him for getting the call up, and he pitched yesterday. I believe it was a scoreless outing.
No, he gave up a homer.
He gave up a homer?
Yeah,
okay. I must have looked away or repressed that when that happened. But either way, shout out to that guy. Going over to that article from Jay's Journal right there. You got a couple roster spots opening up. Typically, they do what? Like one hitter, one pitcher.
Yeah, one hitter, one pitcher.
Well, I think that Easton Lucas is a shout. I think that here's the thing, because in this article you're going to see that they have Alek Manoah and they got Trey Savage here.
Yeah, way at the bottom. Yeah,
way at the bottom. And I disagree with both of those things because we were in Buffalo and we saw them pitch. And even though the box scores looked good and all that, and yeah, you could make a couple different arguments, it just didn't feel like it was time. They didn't feel like it was, they were ready enough and it was time. So for me, I'm looking at maybe a Braden Fisher, and I'm also probably looking at an Easton Lucas when it comes to pitchers.
Yeah, Easton Lucas can provide you length if you are looking in that direction, which I like. And then as well, like, I mean, you have two guys right now in Buffalo by the names of Fisher and Fluharty.
Right.
Those two guys have been up for a long time in the big leagues and have dominated in the big leagues at one given point or another. Bringing up those guys is a clear, obvious answer right there. And also we'll see how Paxton's tenure is. He came up as like, we need arms right now because we blew through them all in the 12 outings. So maybe you bring both those guys up. Either way, all of them have big league experience. That one's an obvious one. And then for me on the position player side of things, it's Joey Loperfido. I mean, we brought it up a week ago where his send down was only because he had options, and people and Ty France doesn't have any options. He's been playing really good recently. You got to bring up Joey Loperfido as another left-handed outfield option the Blue Jays don't have.
Yeah, it actually just
other than Varsho,
I mean, the guy has a 900 OPS at the MLB level this year. So
batting over 300.
Can you imagine if they decided to bring up Clase instead? I like Clase, but at the end of the day, like one of us has got a 900 OPS. I've got OPS higher than Vladdy. So obviously it's got to be Joey Loperfido. Do I expect him to continue playing that way? Probably not, but he's done enough this season for the Toronto Blue Jays where it's just like, okay, we gotta respect what you've done this year, and you are gonna get the second call. So Joey Loperfido is a lock for me. And then in terms of the pitchers, it's either Fisher, it's Fluharty, it's Easton Lucas, and I'm ruling out personally Manoah and Savage.
So people in the chat here are correcting us, saying that Fluharty and Fisher need to wait 15 days after the demotion. That's actually the first time I've actually ever heard of that. If that is the case, then you just bring up anybody else and then bring those guys up after when they're ready to go.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that.
I guess in that regard, then it would have to. I would say it would be Easton Lucas.
Yeah.
And then should you want to make the move after the fact, then you could swap one of those two guys. That's interesting. Then that the Jays decided to do that close to September call-ups.
Yeah. Well,
does that still play for September call? Like, is that still the case for that? Somebody let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. First time. Baseball's crazy. Let's move on, guys, and let's talk about the upcoming series against the Minnesota Twins. Before we do, we got to give a shout out to another sponsor here on Blue Jays Today. Pizza. Try Pizza's new chicken tenders today. Made with 100% Canadian farm-raised chicken and cooked to crispy golden perfection. Try them with a dip or sauced up. You can mix and match with a large 2-topping pizza, 4 chicken tenders, and a dip for just $19.99. Or your own snack box with fries and dip. Don't wait. Swing by Pizza today. Order in the Pizza app or online at pizzapizza.ca, because Pizza, everyone deserves pizza. Let's get into that.
Shout out to Pizza. Let's talk about this upcoming series, everybody. Minnesota Twins, they got a record of 59-71. This is not their year, but somebody who we really wanted on the Toronto Blue Jays and who is having quite the season is Joe Ryan. He's going to be on the bump opposite Mr. Max Scherzer. Blue Jays Today guy right there. Elite individual. Awesome human being. Loved talking with Max Scherzer. I can't say that about all, athletes. Like, we were in Buffalo. We've been talking to a decent amount of people, but I'll tell you, Max Scherzer, awesome guy to talk to. He is up against Joe Ryan, who's been doing great, but recently Max Scherzer's been doing even better than him.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, Joe Ryan's had pretty good outings, but he has gotten beaten up quite a bit in the last 5. We're at home at the Rogers Center. It's going to be quite a matchup. Sad we're not going live tonight. We actually have a fantasy draft we got to do tonight. So, we'll be live tomorrow night for the Blue Jays and Twins game. What do you think about this one? We're back home. We need a win. We're up against an ace. We'd love to have Joe Ryan and the Blue Jays. We were kind of hoping for that. Deadline, that's okay. We got Bieber. What are you thinking?
I'll tell you what, man. I'm not betting against Mad Max.
Nope.
Pretty much ever this season. Nope. I can't do it. The guy's thumb is better. He told us. He said straight to our faces, my thumb is good. My body feels great. So for me, when you got a future first ballot Hall of Famer saying that to you, and then also going on the bump and backing it up every single outing, I'm going to take him 10 times out of 10. Also, icing on the cake, and what just further brings this one home for me is the fact that they are at home, where we just said at the beginning of this show, they kick ass.
Yeah,
give me the Toronto Blue Jays.
Absolutely, and look at this. Like, barely anyone's even dude, not even Buxton's faced Scherzer in his career.
How have you avoided Max Scherzer this long?
Probably because he spends a lot of time in the NL, and he's also been hurt a lot, so that's kind of crazy. It is Buxton's first time facing him, but look at the lineup. Like, they are depleted out there. We're not even considering that right now. Yeah, the Blue Jays have a tough test with Joe Ryan, but I'm going to stick with my guns here and say the Blue Jays are going to do just enough to get him, and Scherzer's been playing better than Ryan. They win at home. Give me the Blue Jays. Give me a nice solid 4-1 victory, Blue Jays. Easy peasy.
I agree. Jays are going to win this one. Following game, we will be live for this one. You got Chris Bassett on the bump up against Bailey Ober. Ober's got an ERA over 5, a 4-7 record. I like Jays in this one too.
Yeah, Bassett for me has been struggling just a little bit. I'm looking at his game logs right now. His last outing wasn't too bad. It's just like he's doing just enough in this one. Ober is doing pretty bad. You know what? We're at home. Bassett plays great at home, if I'm not mistaken.
He does, yeah.
So give me the Blue Jays 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, I think, honestly, let's face it, right? When the good teams are on the road, they go 500, but when they're at home, they dominate. And the Blue Jays have been dominating. So I will take the Jays in this one.
Bless you.
Oh, Jesus. Following game, third game here, you got Eric Lauer up against a to-be decided over there on Fangraphs. They say it is Zebby Matthews. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with Zebby Matthews.
No. I'm saying, guys, we're getting the 3-game sweep. It's the power of Lauer. This guy's 8-2 on the year. He's back in the rotation. He's going to prove that he's a valuable asset to this team. This one's easy, guys. We need a 3-game sweep. We got to get a little bit more cushion. We got to secure our place in the second bye, maybe even first bye if we go chase those Tigers. They're starting to get hot right now, but we got to get hot going into some tough series on the weekend where you got the Brewers. Sweep. Let's go get it.
Yeah, it's a sweep for me as well. I just think that Minnesota they're not a great baseball team right now. Everything for the Jays is lining up here. They got some relatively good pitching matchups. Ober and Zebby. I think we can handle those guys, and even their best guy is arguably up against our best guy right now in Mad Max. So I say Blue Jays bring up the brooms. That would bring us to a record of 79 wins should the Toronto Blue Jays do that, which would be absolutely kick ass. At this point, I think that they're kind of chasing down the magical 93, 94 win total. That feels, when you get to that level, that feels like, okay, you're one of the elites. You're not maybe the top favorite walking in the postseason, but if you got 94 wins, I'm looking at you and going, okay, respect. These guys could make some noise. Yeah. And that's kind of the pace that the Jays are on right now.
Yeah, the only team that isn't even going to flirt with 100 wins is the Brewers right now. And that's crazy in baseball. We're having a very mid-season, but I kind of like it. It's refreshing not to having dominant teams in the league right now.
I think it's absolutely awesome, and the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers, a squad that is below or a 10th, I think that they're in the bottom 10 when it comes to payroll, is the only team that's going to flirt with 100. I really hope they do it. I hope that they get to 100 wins because that's just such an achievement for a squad that, can you name me 5 guys on the Milwaukee Brewers? Probably not, right? Yeah. So that is awesome for them. It's going to be really fun watching us take them on in the Rogers Center this coming weekend, but we will be live for Game 1.
Also, Danielle's saying, are you guys doing the Wings Challenge tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we're going to postpone
We're going to have to do that in September.
To be honest, that snuck up on us a lot quicker than I expected it was going to sneak up on us, and we've done zero marketing for it at all at this current point. We've just been extremely busy. Yeah. We are going to do it this year for certain. Yeah. I think that we got to do a better job, honestly, on our end planning it out. So probably mid-September or late September is where you can expect that to happen.
Let's get it going, guys. And now, transitioning to the final segment of this Blue Jays Today show, I gotta go run and get it. It's time to spin the wheel.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful
future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
I'm missing one, chat.
It's a wheel that we spin every single week, everybody. Here we go. We got the wheel up. Last time out, I changed up a couple of the thingies, so they would be like, we'd get different categories, because it is abundantly clear that at this current juncture the wheel is very weighted. But either way, that's fine. We are missing one. Do you know what it is?
No idea. What is it?
Well, we'll figure out if I roll it.
Maybe we'll make it the war category again.
Oh, right.
We'll make it the war.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever we're missing, because it's just tape. It's literally like paint tape, like the green tape you put on the corners, so you don't So yeah.
Get a new wheel. Well, here's the thing, man. This is I didn't make this. Adam didn't make this. I got my stepdad to make this, and I think it took a relatively decent amount of work and effort to do so. So if you guys want to make us a new wheel, then please feel free. But for now, this is a wheel we're gonna be rocking with. Let's spin this thing. It was tied up last week. What did I win? What did you win?
You won the worst, Jay. I won Caper 9, shockingly enough, if you believe it.
Garland, eh?
Yeah, it's because he literally got 2 strikeouts and 2 1/3, and then Hoffman also got 2 strikeouts but 3 innings.
Right.
So,
and also it did just land on bonus player.
Oh,
which
let's
is
go.
Weighted, so that's why that one's going to be coming up a bunch. So funny enough, it's the first category again. It's bonus player.
Let's go. Maybe we'll just get a bunch of bonus players the rest of the way. It is K Batters is up next. Ooh, I think I know what I'm gonna go for here. I gotta pull up the stats.
I have a feeling who is the guy to choose at this current
He's
juncture.
struggling right now.
Yeah, he's not playing well.
I don't want him to struggle. Let me get the Blue Jays up here. I don't want him to struggle.
We're both talking about Varsho, right?
We are both talking about Varsho.
Yeah. It's been a rough little bit for Addison
Lord
Varsho.
have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy. Varsho's been striking out a lot. Dang, dude. And Jimenez has been striking out a lot. Dang. Wow. That's actually kind of... Let me go last 7 days. Nathan Lucas, Kirk.
Jace Van says you should use a digital wheel instead so it's not weighted. I don't know. I like the physical aspect of it, man. I think it adds something to it.
Oh, this is tough, actually. This is tough. You know what? Oops. You know what? I'm actually... Because I can pick the next 2. Do I want to take the first one? Oh, I don't know. What's the chat saying? Straw, Barger, Clement, Lucas, Straw. I hate that Varsho's throwing a wrinkle. I was so locked in. At least Varsho hits home runs. You know what? I'm gonna go first. I'll take Barger. I just have faith. I got faith. Yeah, you're gonna take Varsho?
Duh.
Yeah, I know. I just got faith. I think Varsho's gonna get hot. I got faith.
Yeah,
I got faith.
I'll take the guy with 12 strikeouts.
And then I'll take Andres Jimenez as well. So I was trying to decide whether I wanted to go with, because I just believe in it. I'm going with my gut here, chat.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going with the gut.
Believe in Addison Bar. He is striking out a crap load right now. There's no denying it. So. I'll take Varsho, though. You know that he strikes out a ton too. And I guess the one thing that's instilling me with confidence is he struck out a crap load and still played really well.
Right.
So even if he cools off a little bit, maybe more strikeouts will come. I don't know.
We'll see.
But next category right here. So you got the bonus player there on Varsho and Jimenez. Let's see what the next one is gonna be.
OPS.
All right.
Last 15 days, it's been Daulton Varsho, but it's also been Alejandro Kirk. It's also been Bo Bichette and George Springer. Let's see here. I feel like I can kind of. I feel like I'm gonna. I feel like I'm gonna let you take this one. There's a lot of good options here. You go
I'll
first.
go Bo.
And I'll go George.
Yeah, Bo Bichette has been on another level since the All-Star break. I made a short on it earlier, and I'm gonna keep riding with my guy. I mean, listen, when you get 4 hits, even when they're all singles, when you get 4 hits in a game, the OPS is gonna go up. In fact, did you guys know that Bo Bichette is currently the second, on the Toronto Blue Jays franchise list, the second person in franchise history with the most 4-hit games?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. He needs to keep doing that. Unk's gonna keep smacking homers. I was gonna go Unk. That was my number 1 choice right there.
Fair enough.
I was gonna go Unk.
So we both got our number 1s in.
There we go.
I'm all about Bo right now. Let's see. Final category is Jay Killer.
All right. Who we got? So we got Milwaukee coming up. I don't know the pitching matchups.
I don't know anyone who's good here, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like they're all kind of like, even though Milwaukee's so damn good, it's like who's on your team?
Let me. Okay, I gotta look this up. Where the hell is this tab here? I have way too many tabs open.
Alan Rodin, says RP. yeah, you could take Alan Rodin to kick our ass.
Let's see. Let's go to Milwaukee. 7 days. Ooh, Yelich.
A lot of nice guys.
All right, give me and we don't have our. Oh, we will have Shane Bieber. I don't know their pitchers, so if I pick batter, you got to go batter.
I forget what we did with this one because
I don't know who's upcoming for them though. That's the one problem.
No, I get it. Yeah,
I don't know who's coming.
I don't know either, man.
I don't even know if they have it. I'll take Yelich. I'll take Yelich there.
Okay. Yeah, Danielle is saying Joe Ryan. That wouldn't have been a bad one at all.
No.
So am I forced to pick a batter then?
Well, you can pick Joe Ryan if you want.
Let me just take a look right here. Yelich is pretty good. Buxton's actually been pretty good too. What's his last 15 days?
The only reason why I'm scared about the Twins.
Buxton's been sucking the last 15 days though. He's got a 192 batting average. I don't like that.
And also, I don't like the matchups for these Twins. They got a lot of good pitchers.
They got some good pitchers for sure. Meanwhile, over there on Milwaukee, Yelich has been a stud. Like Sal Frelick, Bryce Turang. Like, is that what we're doing here? Like, is Bryce Turang good, guys? Wow, this is actually a tough one. You put me in a pickle here because. Am I really gonna trust? Dude, Bryce Turang's got a 4.7 WAR. Are you kidding me?
He must be really great defensively.
That's the thing. The Minnesota Twins team is just filled with these guys that are like actually nuts. I'm gonna try to take a look real quick. I gotta see what their rotation is gonna look like because I might have to go with a
Peralta.
Yeah, like if Peralta's there, I might have to go with it.
Turang might be the best second baseman this season, saying Drew. And saying got to pick Ryan. Yeah, oh yeah, check their fan graphs. He is going.
So Peralta would go, and yeah, I'm gonna go Freddie Peralta.
There you go.
I'm gonna go Freddie Peralta.
All right, we'll have to do it based on WAR, I guess, based on those 3 games. We'll have to calculate that.
Or like we could put like a poll or something, because I don't. How would that work? Like WAR?
Because you can go to Fangraphs and like pick like dates and see how much WAR they accumulated.
Okay, we'll figure something out there to make it as fair as possible. But apparently, in the last 14 days, Freddie Peralta has been the #1 pitcher
look at that.
in baseball. So for me,
what's Yelich? What's Yelich?
Yelich in the last 15 is 126. See, that doesn't make
any sense because he's bad. Is a 1.1 OPS.
Yeah, that makes zero sense to me at all. I don't know if I buy into all these last 14 days and stuff. Well, either way, Freddie Peralta is elite. Yelich is also elite. This should be a fun matchup. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this Blue Jays Today show. We're going to be live tomorrow night for the game. We'll also have a podcast coming out tomorrow morning. Just tons of content. We are in the home stretch of the 2025 MLB season.
One more month.
With a 99.6% chance to make playoffs, it probably won't end at the end of September.
You know what's great? You can all take a deep breath and feel good about that. Like, think about that. We're here in August already saying, yep, postseason.
Kind of like we're kind of playing for free. It's almost like a breath of fresh air until what is going to be the like stressful panic mode of October.
Wow.
So take a moment. You know what? If you have to miss a Jays game this week or the coming weeks, you know it's not a big problem because you know that they're safe. But then lock in come late September.
Yeah. Well, when was the last time you were not stressed in September?
Last year, actually. I was not stressed at all last year.
Well, when trying to make postseason, like, even in 16 and in 15, I was like stressed and panicked, and we are cruising. So guys, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Also, if you're rewatching this and you have the hype button, hit that hype button, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. $4 a month become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are amazing.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
go Jays, go!